the 4-day intensive annual dialogue and exhibitions of the Africa's energy sector organized by the African Energy Chamber formally comes to a close on Thursday. That's, of course, the Rice Business correspondent Bosin Omofaye was at the Cape Town International Conference Center to take a look at what was left of the high-profile event. Take a look now.
Yes, so it's all come to an end. The African Energy Week 2025 here at the CTICC Center in Cape Town. Of course, this is just a little bit of what is left of the hashtag AEW2025, and you can see the basins, the others stripping the furniture and every other thing that's been put together, all going into boxes. As hundreds of delegates from across Africa and around the world departing back to their various countries and destinations. So what have we learned over the last few days? It's been all about folks discoursing the future of Africa's energy, ensuring that the continent has what it takes, or harness what it has in terms of human capital, in terms of natural resources to build a sustainable energy future. And I've taken pages and pages, several notes of what's been discussed, trying to grab a sense of what is the future. And that the message for the 2025 is that Africa will not stop drilling, not just for oil and gas or hydrocarbon, but also to our renewable, everything together to ensure a sustainable future, to get us an energy independence, energy sovereignty. And with the world situation, the geopolitics, tariffs and everything coming in between, there's no better time for the continent to look inwards for finance, for everything else, and of course stretch a hand across the jurisdictions all around the world for all the partnerships and collaborations it can get.
Please give them a round of applause. History has been made.
Well, it's been a very good time here in Cape Town, South Africa. It's been a very wonderful arrangement by the CTICC and the organizers. But like all the delegates, hundreds and hundreds of them from within Africa and around the world, it's time for me to also say goodbye and just put this among my collections and say goodbye to 2025 edition of the African Energy Week, but also to say goodbye to this very beautiful city of Cape Town, South Africa. Until next time, I am Bosin Omofaye reporting.
Well, thank you so much, Bosin Omofaye, which of course has been in Cape Town since the beginning of the week on the back of the Energy Week. Well, on the other hand, VivaJet, one of Africa's executive commercial aviation companies, says the company is prepared to increase its investment in the sector following the recent $10 million transaction package by Teak Capital. Well, the aviation company's chief executive officer, Rika Achum, says the role of aviation is critical for the success of intra-Africa trade, as well as the oil and gas industry. That requires constant mobility by energy executives. VivaJet was a logistics aviation exhibitor and contributor to the just concluded annual African Energy Week conference held in Cape Town, South Africa.
When folks talked about energy, and many folks don't really think about the role that aviation and energy, where the connection is. We just sit on a plane and we enjoy the flight. No one ever really thought about the role that folks like yourself play in the energy sector. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, from an economic point of view, first of all, aviation is more or less the most reliable transport sector in the continent, even though there are infrastructural challenges such as air connectivity as well. Business aviation plays quite a key role in getting people, products, most importantly in our case, the leaders of change, captains of industries, to where they want to be. And for us at VivaJet, I mean, it was quite important for us to be here to engage with, people who are shaping the future of Africa's energy.
When you say moving people, moving hundreds and thousands of delegates from here, from across Africa, down to one location like that? What does it really involve?
I mean, it's quite sad as well that Africa seems to be quite fragmented. I mean, during my panel session, I was speaking to the fact that it's quite easier to fly. As a Nigerian operator, it's quite easier for me to fly to London than for me to fly to, Accra or Abidjan, which is in the same economic zone as Nigeria. Requires a lot of permissions, both overflight and landing permits, coordinating logistics. And the clientele we fly are people who are time poor, right? And the only way they're able to buy back time is via means of a business jet. So it's quite challenging, but we're quite set up for it. It's what we live for, and we like to see ourselves, even though we take very good care of our customers, and it might be termed as a luxury service, we quite see ourselves as an essential service.
Business executives across Africa, time is money, so they need to move very quickly. They can't afford 10 hours, 5 hours layover because deals have to be signed, meetings have to be concluded, moving to the next place, location where the money is or where the deal is, where they've got to do. And that takes a whole lot. How do you deal with that, with the logistics issue across Africa, visa requirements, like you said, landing fees and all that? What's been your experience at Viva Jets?
I mean, the first thing is having, a very resilient and robust team. I mean, for us, we know our knowledge of the African space, gives us that edge as well. I mean, crisscrossing Africa from Dakar to Nairobi to Johannesburg, to Casablanca. I mean, we try as much as possible to navigate all these problems, which are mainly regulatory, right? Because by the time you arrive, you see and you ask yourself, what was really the problem? But I mean, there's quite been a lot of talk on the single African air transport market integration. We can't wait to see that happen. We can't wait to see the African airspace unified, and kind of like ties up to our ambition of a more unified, connected and prosperous Africa.
You're talking about intra-Africa trade and all of that, isn't it?
Absolutely. And, products can't move where people don't move. People go first. And they have to close the deals before the products exchange hands. And, our ambition as an organization is to, in fact, get those people to their destinations fast, quick, safely, and also in a luxurious way.
Well, should I be asking why you are at the Africa Energy Week and having an exhibition pavilion? Tell me about this year's Energy Week Summit. What's been some of the things you've learned, some of the things you've seen with your members of your team on the ground that speaks to the need to connect aviation with energy sector on the continent moving forward?
Interesting conversations around the future of Africa. I mean, let's take Nigeria for an example. Even though the energy sector only takes about 9 or 10% of our GDP, realistically makes up 60-70% of our revenues, right? So that's a quite important sector. And for us, it was important, to align more or less, understand their pain points in order for us to be able to serve them better. And again, we have a gathering of our customers. Logistically, it's easier for us to meet them in one place compared to meeting them at, their different locations. And of course, expose ourselves to potential customers, telling them how we can improve, their, at the end of the day, profit and loss, statements, because for us, without speedy, movement, you could have quite an impact on how you close transactions.
Very interesting. Look forward to 2026. I'm sure you're looking forward to that for the next AEW.